Here's a term that I see everywhere, actually, online, on TV. It's cheap health insurance. Can be sometimes a negative term. Talk a little bit about that.
It's a great topic. I mean, we see it all the time. We hear it all the time from agents. If you go to websites, it's actually a portion that is labeled cheap insurance. You know, I've been brought up, I don't know if cheap things are really going to be less expensive in the long run. In my opinion, there's nothing out there cheap. If it's labeled cheap, it's going to cost you money. Our industry, health insurance, is regulated. The prices are prices are prices. I know that sounds corny, but if you talk to 10 different agents, you give them exactly the same information, your height and weight, health, dates of birth, your same health history, and if every agent has access to the same carrier and is presenting the same set of benefits, you're going to get the same quote. It cannot be any other way. And the only way you can change cost is if you go with low deductibles, then you're going to have very high expensive premiums. If you go with high deductibles and money's out of pocket, then you're going to have low premiums. So it just depends on a personal nature exactly what your preference is as far as cost.
And when it comes to affordable plans on a monthly basis, that's what we try and help the clients understand. We need to know what you consider cheap. There's a lot of plans out there, and that's exactly what we do, is shop around to find the client the lowest cost plan available on the market. So what is cheap to you might not be cheap to somebody else, and because health insurance is regulated, as Tab said, the prices are pretty much set. It's their medical history, their age, and their zip code that will actually determine what that cost is. You could take a 32-year-old male living in Pennsylvania, he may pay less for his policy than a 32-year-old male living in South Florida, for example. And
Very
from
true.
each carrier, it can range from $50 to $100 difference one way or the other in price. So finding a cheap policy, that's exactly what we're going to help the people look for and on the market for. But again, we need to know what they consider cheap, and also we don't want to give them cheap coverage. We don't want them to have coverage that's cheap and not cover the benefits that they're looking for. Some people get confused about cheap. We all know in this world you get what you pay for. Why would you want the lowest cost plan if that lowest cost plan didn't cover what you wanted it to cover? In the long run, as Tab said, it'll cost you more out of pocket to cover your health care expenses. So what's cheap is not necessarily good.